It is a great experience to come to an island which has an entirely different tradition and history, which is made up of people of an entirely different cultural origin than on the mainland of the United States, and still be able to feel that I am in my country here in this city and island as I was in my country in Washington this morning. Puerto Rico serves as an admirable bridge between Latin America and North America. You have served to make it easier for us to understand each other.
Everyone has told me to leave the island, that there is really no place for me here, and they say it in a bad way. Well, not in the bad way that, it's like things are bad over here, not that, you're terrible. You're not good enough for here. No, it's not in that sense. It's that things are that bad over here.
When President Kennedy was here, he addressed about tackling what he called the difficult problems of education and housing and employment. In that same spirit, we've been trying to make sure that every family on the island can find work and make a living and provide for their children.
Me preocupa que se están yendo muchas personas del país para el extranjero a trabajar y estudiar, porque aquí no consiguen buena paga o la misma cantidad de oportunidades. Siempre hay un atropello a las personas que más necesitan, como los estudiantes o los trabajadores hasta públicos. En realidad le afecta a todo el mundo y se protesta, pero usualmente no se llega a mucho, desafortunadamente.
Que hemos sido parte de Estados Unidos por más de 100 años. Y es como tener un hijo ilegítimo, que le das cariño, le das los beneficios, pero no tiene tu apellido.
¿Has notado que mucha gente se ha ido de la isla?
Sí.
¿Por qué?
Buscando mejores condiciones de vida, mejor futuro, buscando salud, buscando los beneficios que tienen en los estados y que aquí, por ser una colonia, no lo tenemos.
Since I was a kid, I always knew, like in the back of my head, I would eventually move to the States. But once I got to university, I did not want to do that. I wanted to stay back home in Puerto Rico. I felt really strongly about helping create a better island and a better prosperity of life. As a student, I was like, what am I going to do next? What's my next step? How am I going to survive? What is my next? How am I going to grow as a person, as a professional? What am I going to do?
Because when one is college, one reads all these works, and one gets riled up. You get that energy, you get that fresh energy. Like, why aren't things this way? And you're young, you feel like you can just, just conquer the world. You feel like immortal in a way. Who's gonna stop me?
When you graduate college and you're thinking of pursuing your career, there are like little to no opportunities to further your career on the island. Your whole life, it's like, it's my responsibility to further the economy in my island. Like, I don't want my culture to die. I don't want Puerto Rico to be left behind. But then there's really nowhere to turn to fulfill those dreams.
I see my students trying to forge a career and it's almost impossible for them. So that's something that the younger generation is looking at. It's difficult to make a living with all these taxes and things you have to pay and these expenses like food that's imported, like electricity that's the highest, I think, in any Western civilization. All these things pile up to people wanting a better quality of life and more than just minimum salary, which is not enough right now to pay rent by yourself and electricity and all your other debts, including student loans.
It's just like I feel sometimes I still feel like a kid, like I don't understand the world. But then I realize I am 26 years old. I am an adult. I need to think about how well I'm being paid, my health insurance, and what's it going to do with my future for future emergencies. The day after the hurricane, I went outside and all the mountains were brown. Everything looked dead.
People are very angry and they have a right to be, but they're also about to lose hope. And I think that's the worst assessment that there can be.
You can't restart in a place that you can barely survive in, you know what I mean? It's not easy to start up here. Is it possible? Absolutely, it is possible. But the difficulty to do so is too much to deal with, to bear. You know, it can either make or break you, and there's a good chance that it will break you. And so yes, the people leaving the island, you can understand why. You can understand it. I understand it, at least.
Desde hace muchos años ya hemos estado viendo cómo estamos perdiendo cada vez más nuestros territorios, pero especialmente nuestras costas e incluso nuestros lugares para vivir. Ahora mismo todo se está convirtiendo en un Airbnb, todo es un lugar que le pertenece a otras personas, no a nosotros. Y la realidad es que uno mismo teme dónde uno va a vivir, qué vamos a hacer, si nos vamos a tener que ir del país por no tener algo permanente. Y nos merecemos mucho más que migajas.
Now, I want to make this perfectly clear. I have no problem with modernization. I have no problem with cleaning up. I have no problem with preparing. I have no problem with that. In fact, I see nothing wrong with that. However, the issue in it lies, and you know, I think it's something that every person should acknowledge. You know, every Puerto Rican should acknowledge, and it's that the reasoning for these things happening is not for our benefit. And it's noticeable. It's noticeable because we are not living in those areas now, are we?
I think that this slow progress in like social, political, and like all those aspects of like living here is really detrimental for like not only people's well-being, but just like as you know, as a society, you know, we're falling behind, I guess would be the best way to put it.
If you can change one thing about the island, what would it be and why?
Deciding to leave, that was the hardest thing ever. I don't think I will ever be okay with this decision. I don't think I will ever be okay with it, but I have to.
Pero el tiempo pasó y el destino borró mi terrible nostalgia. Y no pude volver al San Juan que yo amé, pedacito de patria. Mi cabello blanqueó, ya mi vida se va, ya la muerte me llama. Y no quiero morir alejado de ti, Puerto Rico del alma. Adiós, 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 Borinquen querida, tierra de mi amor. Adiós, 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 mi niño del mar, mi reina del palmar. Me voy, ya me voy, pero un día volveré a buscar mi querer, a soñar otra vez en mi viejo San Juan, a buscar mi querer, a soñar otra vez en mi viejo San